going on, everybody, and welcome to the Minute channel. And today we have a discussion video regarding something that just kind of noticed all of a sudden, and I wanted to make a video yesterday, but I was tired, it was late and everything like that. And that's the fact that I noticed, and not only me but a bunch of people also noticed, that Atlus went from being Atlus USA to Atlus Western. I'm kind of wondering, what does that mean for us as the US or Europe and the rest of the world and the Western audiences? What does that mean for us? So today we're just kind of discussing this and thinking about what this could mean for us, whether it means simultaneous releases with Japan and the rest of the world, or maybe it could mean that we have a shorter time frame for things like translations and that kind of stuff. I mean, it takes like 6 to 8 months before we get a game on the US, and sometimes it used to be years before we get some games. So in fact, some Atlus games never come to the US or the rest of the world outside of Japan or Asia. So things have changed and evolved over years, especially thinking about how much money they're making in Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, Catherine, all these newer series that have come out over the years from Atlus that have really done a lot of they found a big audience in the US and I guess in Europe as well. For example, if you go to the website now, which is one of the biggest things that changed, you can actually see that not only can you see the website in English, but it also comes in European languages like Spanish and Portuguese and German and all these other different languages, and that is pretty cool and really interesting. Does that mean that the game might, not the game, but games later on might be translated to different languages? This is a subject that I actually brought up before in the past, and one of the things that I feel is a big opportunity that they're missing, whether it's the European market or the Latin American market. Now, nothing has been said about Latin America, but if you guys don't know, there's a huge community of Shin Megami Tensei and Persona and others Atlus games. There's a huge community in Latin America for this kind of stuff, particularly, for example, myself. Even though I do speak my videos in English, I do speak Spanish as well, and I am from a Latin American country. So it is pretty interesting to see how these have evolved over time. I think that it will be cool to see them evolve into a multinational corporations such as Sega. Sega is massive and they publish all around the world. So seeing that division of Sega, now Atlus, kind of following those steps and maybe growing farther and everything. So that's really interesting and really neat. I'm very excited to see how that's going to turn out for the rest of us in the US. Maybe we can get bigger releases and anything like that. They tried to do kind of like a little bit more this year when it came to Persona 5, for example. Persona 5 Royal, for example, had a release back in October 31st, but one of the things that they did there is that they had this massive thing where they played the trailer in Tokyo, in Shibuya particularly, which is where part of the story in Persona 5 takes place. So what they tried to do in the US, for example, was famous places like in California or New York or Chicago, they tried to have like parts of kind of like a Phantom Thieves motive there. Now, it didn't work out the same way, but I think it's a good step forward in the right direction. Hopefully they can get more control. They can make some American Atlus games. That would be amazing if they could have a studio in the US for kind of like geared more towards Western audiences and everything. That would be pretty interesting. I mean, this is a big step in the right direction for Atlus. This is a big step to kind of just seeing how they evolve and everything like that. It will be interesting to see what comes next. But anyway, guys, what do you guys think about this? I know it's not like a big deal for a lot of people, especially people in the US, which we already had Atlus USA and everything like that, but it'll be interesting to see how Atlus Western now evolves into something else, into something bigger. Again, the biggest thing for me will be like having simultaneous releases with Japan, or maybe like trailers in English and in Japanese and other languages as well. That'll be really interesting to see how these gets treated and marketed and everything like that, because it's a huge thing. I think it's huge. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for my video discussion today. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about this? Does it matter to you? Is this a big deal? Do you think that maybe later on we could have things like translated in other languages, or DLC? I don't know, things that do matter to us as consumers, as players. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. If you're new, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.